Hey guys, welcome back in here to another daily delivery on GoPowercat. I am Ryan Gilbert, once again filling in for Fitz here this morning as the boss man continues to get well. And 1 week from now, we will be out in Dallas for Big 12 Media Days. It'll be me, John Grove, and Big B. Fitz will not be making the trip as he continues to rest, but the three of us will be down in Frisco. Should be a lot of fun. A lot of stuff is coming your way right here on GoPowercat, and I'm happy to go to Dallas. However, a couple years back, if you might recall, Big 12 Media Days was out in Vegas. I had a lot of fun out there, as I always do, and I will have a lot of fun in November when I'm out in Vegas for K-State basketball, as the Cats will play in the Players Era tournament out in the Sin City. That will be a lot of fun while everybody's stuck in Kansas dealing with the cold weather. I'll be out in Vegas enjoying the nice warm weather, playing some poker, enjoying myself, and most importantly though, covering this basketball team against some really good teams out in the Players Era. Okay, this team is going to hit the ground running in Casey Alexander's first season, right? You play your first matchup against Gonzaga, and then you get the winner or loser, depending on how K-State does, of Baylor and Alabama. And then after that, I think it's TCU, Miami, Michigan, Creighton, I believe, are the next four possibilities that K-State might get in that third and final game of the event. But this is going to be tough, and we're going to find out a lot about this Kansas State team pretty early on. Now, I'm always going to be one to say that teams get better throughout the course of a season. The more time that literally a group of 13 newcomers has together, they're going to get better, and they're going to learn how to play with each other. It's going to probably take time for any college basketball team to truly, be at that peak form. But Casey Alexander, despite coming to Manhattan and this being his first season, he knows how to run a program, and more importantly, he knows how to run an offense. There's going to be a system. There's going to be structure here in this program in the Little Apple. Now, over the recent years under Jerome Tang, with all due respect, it was a 5-out offense, right? There was a lot of just go out and score and guys make plays. The free-flowingness of that didn't necessarily, that doesn't resemble what Casey Alexander's offense is going to be. Now, with Jerome Tang, for example, right? I don't say this to pick on that system, but that was definitely a style that does take a lot of time for guys to click and play together, just because it, at the end of the day, is guys going out and making plays. But here with Casey Alexander, what you get from day one to the final day of the season, of course, isn't going to be the exact same, but it is the offense. It is what it is. And so what you see in Vegas, how much better can Kansas State get from the Players Era to the conference tournament in March in Kansas City? You're going to be looking at more or less the same team here. So what I'm getting at, the overall point, is that we're going to find out a lot about this team within a couple games of this upcoming basketball season. The competition's going to get stiff, right? Gonzaga has one of the best front courts in all of college basketball. It's not going to be easy, but win or lose, we're going to know. We're going to find out what this team in year number one is going to be about. If you go over and you lose to Gonzaga by 20, 25 points, maybe Jerome Tang and Baylor get some revenge on Kansas State. Let's just say the Cats flop in this tournament. It's going to be, bluntly put, a long Big 12 season ahead. That 18-game grind in one of the nation's toughest conferences will not be kind to Casey Alexander and his team if the Players Era is just a failure. However, you go out and maybe you lose by 5-6 points to Gonzaga and you beat Alabama, you win your third game against TCU. Okay, this team can be competitive in the Big 12. But what happens in Vegas, I know usually stays in Vegas, but what happens in Vegas is what's going to set the tone for the rest of the season for Kansas State. Of course, like I said, you want to give a team time to develop and gel and get better together. But that's kind of the case for really every college basketball team in this world of the portal. Every team is full of newcomers. And so, yes, Kansas State's going to get better as the season progresses, but so is every other team, right? That's just part of it. And Casey Alexander, though, this is a compliment to him. From day one, I expect Casey Alexander's teams, or this upcoming team, to be ready to go. They're going to be locked in, and it's kind of ironic. You go back to a couple years back, Kansas State actually opened up that second season under Jerome Tang out in Vegas, lost to USC, and well, lo and behold, that set the tone for a miss on the NCAA tournament. Now, what happens in Vegas in the Players era is going to give us a pretty damn good, representation of how Casey Alexander's first year is going to go. Of course, you can flop out in Vegas and turn things around and have a good season. On the flip side, it's college basketball. Maybe you win 2 out of 3, but then go on to have a bad season. Of course, anything can happen, but if we want to be realistic here, if we want to be smart about this, what we see from this team out in the Players era is largely what we're going to get in Casey Alexander's first season, because it's really an offense that is going to be installed in the offseason, and not just Casey Alexander, but his entire coaching staff, they know exactly what they want that to look like. So from day one, Kansas State's going to be ready to go. If they win games, great. That's what's going to be happening throughout the rest of the season. Unfortunately, if you struggle early on, good luck turning it around in one of the nation's best conferences.